Hello and welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If you're watching this video, this reading was meant to find you regardless of your zodiac sign. Please hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. These readings are totally free. If there is anything you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger. And I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And we start with the Death card. Now, don't freak out. I know it's a scary card. It's meant to be scary. It is the force of change. It is the fundamental force of the universe. It is the nature of nature. Okay? This card very rarely is about the actual loss of life. Okay? But this is about the slow and steady force of change that takes place over a long period of time. Okay? In some ways, this card is about the slow but steady progress of life. Okay? This card could be about time. Let's say it is the hourglass. You know, the grains of sand at the top are the future, and at the bottom, those are the past. What's right in the middle is where we are with this card, and every thought, word, and deed in the present moment is creating our future. Okay, so karma sort of tied into this as well. I feel like, in a way, this card might be talking about you needing to let go of things from the past. Sort of keeping our eyes facing forward, not looking in the rearview mirror. You know, I think that you're involved in something that is taking a long time to implement. It's like we're trying to become who we're meant to become. It doesn't happen overnight. Okay, it's been a slow and steady process, with some setbacks, maybe with some really big leaps. Maybe we've had some tower moments in there as well. But I think you're somebody who you're focused on positive steps in the right direction. You know, we can't go backwards. And if we're standing still, we're going backwards. Okay? So I think that we're pushing ourselves forward, and we realize that even the smallest of steps is still a step. Okay? Now, let's put this card into a little bit of context, and let's see if we can get some more details, a little bit more insight into the nature of this Death card and what it means for you. Our next card, of course, is some Libra energy, and this is the Justice card, or the Adjustment card. We have the Fool as well. We have the Eon. Yes, this is definitely a big decision that you've made to leave the past behind you, for sure. This is kind of saying, like, our world has crumbled. We have destroyed the past in a way, and we're moving forward. Okay? We have crushed a universe, and we're building a new one. And we have this is a lot of major arcana. We have the Devil card up top. Are we going to go 6 for 6? No, 4 of Cups in the future. Almost. We almost did it. We almost did it. 4 of Cups in the future. Over here we have a 9 of Swords. We have a 3 of Pentacles. We have a fixed air energy with a Prince of Swords, and finally a 2 of Wands. You may be feeling like you're in the middle of a storm right now. Okay? But I think the signs here, you have Spirit pushing you forward. All this major arcana here. And then, of course, fire and air and water and earth over here. We have the human elements here, but we have the spiritual, the divine forces here pushing you forward. Okay? Pushing you forward toward safety, security, healing, right? Toward balance, toward stability, right? So, you know, I think that we are trying to go with the momentum here and trying to trust in what Spirit is pushing us toward, trying to, I think, really kind of maximize this momentum that we have right now and push past whatever the difficulty is that you're engaged with. I feel like we're kind of in the middle of a storm right now. Okay, this is the Nine of Swords. Every card has light and shadow, okay? And I think that we're ready for this to be behind us as well, like so much other stuff is behind us. And we're learning how to sort of recycle our energy in order to keep making progress, which means this all has to be eventually gone into the past, and it's going to be part of this push that keeps us going forward. We have to, of course, deal with whatever is going on right now, and it may feel, with the Nine of Swords, it may feel like this is everything. You know, whatever the storm is that we're in the middle of right now, it feels like this is life. It feels like this is who I am. This is going to be forever. It's not going to be forever. The Death card reminds us that this too shall pass. Okay? It will pass into the past, and you will be moving forward from this too. It may feel like this has been already a long and drawn-out process. What we have to do is remain steadfast. We have to persist through the storm. This is the Two of Wands. This is our ability to face the storm. Okay? The storm will not, this is the safe harbor. Okay? This is the Four of Cups. What do I always say about the Four of Cups? It's like we've taken our sailboat and we've moored it in the cove. We've anchored it there in the harbor somewhere. It's safe. It's out of the storm, right? And so this becomes the storm shelter. It becomes like that safe and secure harbor that we've anchored the ship so that we can repair the sails, we can fix any holes in the boat, we can resupply it, and we can get back out there. So I think that this is a very positive card here that's saying whatever storm you're feeling now, if you stay focused and you face it and you push through, and I think we focus on positive thinking, positive affirmations, right? We're going to get through this. Of course, positive thoughts, right? And words, positive deeds, actions, right? Positive intentions here. And we're going to get through the storm, and we'll get to the safety. We'll get to the safe harbor. Okay, this is what we're looking at, and this is where sort of the divine winds are pushing our boat. But we right now feel this. Let's select the mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. And we're going to set it down right here with Jimbo the Lizard King, a.k.a. Mr. Lizard, right there on top. And we're not going to look at that card until the very end. It will tie everything together and give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. If at any point during this program you feel like you might know what that card is, please put your prediction down in the comments below. Let's use our intuition, okay? Now, looking around the room, of course, we've got a lot of majors, and then we've got our fire, our air, our water, our earth over here, okay? So it does feel like there's the spiritual energy on one side, the human energy on the other. I think that this is the recognition that, look, you're undergoing a spiritual process, that you are transforming your life, that you are becoming who you're meant to become, and it may feel like it is a very slow process. Okay. The Libra energy, the Justice card, right here, it's balance, it is poise, it is discernment. It is trying to take our orders from a higher source here. We're trying to let Spirit take the wheel in our life right now because this storm that we are in, and I think the mental and emotional experience of being in that storm. Okay, we have to be very careful with the Nine of Swords, because the Nine of Swords is a lot of negative self-talk. It's kind of saying, it's making statements, I am fill in the blank, and our emotions, our body, our mind are going to believe that. When we make that statement to ourselves, it's as if we are stating a fact. And so we have to be careful with what facts we tell ourselves, especially if we're in this sort of negative state of mind, and we may be telling ourselves a lot of negative things. Okay, so I think with the Libra energy, we're trying to be very mindful of that. We're trying to understand this process of karma, and even in the midst of our distress and our despair, right, and our sleepless nights, we have to be very careful with what we're saying to ourselves. Okay, the thoughts that we have in our head, and this is the recognition that every thought, as well as every word and every deed, is a seed of karma that's creating who we're going to become. Okay, so this is us trying to steer the ship in a way. You want to become someone who wakes up early. You don't say, I'm a loser, I sleep in all the time, I can never wake up early. No, you say, I'm the person that wakes up early. I get up at 5:30 in the morning. And we tell ourselves that that's who I am. If that's who we want to be. I don't know anybody that really wants to wake up that early, but if that's what we need to be, or who we feel is the right version of ourselves for whatever our goals are, just as an example. But it's a way for us to sort of nudge the river a little bit, because this is that slow and gradual process of change. The same thoughts, words, and deeds, right? Behaviors, beliefs, right? Thoughts, words, and deeds over the course of time is creating who we are, right? Everything we are now is a result of everything that we've already, all the thoughts, words, and deeds leading up to right now. So we are aware of this center moment of the hourglass, and we have to make those conscious choices right now in order to nudge this river of change that's happening anyway. We could say, I give up, I don't want to be involved. Change is still going to happen to us. Things are still going to happen in our lives, and we can go from thinking these things are happening to me to maybe believing that these things are happening for me, and I get to choose how I interpret events of my life and how I can sort of flip those around and use them for positive growth. And we may be talking about, injuries, illnesses, the losses in life, the disappointments in life. Okay? Those are occasions, opportunities for us to put our best foot forward. Okay? And to believe that it's through that process. Let's say we lost our job, and that to me feels like a Nine of Swords experience. We have to try our best, and we will fail at this, but we have to try to believe and to acknowledge and to say it to ourselves consciously that something good is going to come through this. I lost the job, yes, but that puts me on a path of seeking a better job. Maybe I'm going to meet new people. Maybe we had a breakup in our lives, We have to believe that, okay, this happens for a reason. It didn't happen to me, it happened for me. And now I can choose to make this a positive thing. I can choose to maybe take the opportunity to work on myself more. That I don't want a relationship, or I want to focus on me. Or that I'm going to meet new people, better people, people that are more on the same sort of, frequency as I am. Okay, so we're able to nudge the river a little bit, and we're able to not change the change, not completely control or steer the ship, but we're able to navigate a little bit. We're trying to be a co-creator with spirit here, with this natural force of the universe that is causing change. We want to be a magician, we want to cause a little bit of change in conformity with our will, with who we feel we are and who we're trying to become and what our goals are in life. And so, we're trying to walk this tightrope between the Fool and the Devil energy, because the Fool and the Devil energy are very different. Right? The Fool is, I don't care what happens to me. I'm just along for the ride. I'm just the passenger in the car, sticking my head out the window, letting my tongue sort of flap in the wind, The Fool doesn't really have a direction. The Fool doesn't care. The Fool just wants the feeling of the air on its face, the wind at its back, and just wants the novelty of life, but has no say in the matter. Right? The Fool's completely let go of any care or concern. And this is contrasted, of course, with our Devil energy. And the Devil this is the engine of this says, I want to be in control of the ship. I have an engine here that I can use to sort of propel myself forward. course, the Fool is, well, let's say, if we're talking about maritime vessels, we have, a sailboat here and like a motorboat here, right? Because the Fool is just that pure air. It's saying wherever the wind blows, that's where I goes. The devil energy, of course, is saying, no, I can point myself in any direction that I wish. And I can use my effort, my energy, my endurance, perseverance, tenacity to get in that direction. So it's not we're just hoping and praying that eventually the wind will carry us into the safe harbor. But we're saying I need to be intentional and get myself to where I want to be. Okay. Also, like I said, in tandem with the force of nature, in tandem, let's say, with the current of the waters. Right, so when you're working with the current and you have your engine running, you're going to get there a lot faster. But if the current is carrying you and the wind is blowing you around, it kind of feels like we're a cork on the ocean or a feather in the wind. And we don't know where we're going to end up. And we're just sort of at the mercy of all of these forces, these things happening to us, right? Rather than up here, we're saying, okay, these things are happening for me. Yeah. I think the Fool is also really for you. It's the desire for freedom. It's a desire to be free of this storm that we're in. And in some ways, this is us kind of hoping and praying that the storm will pass eventually, right? Well, we have to believe that. We have to hope and pray that the storm will pass. But then we also have to kick ourselves into gear and help it along to get to the past. We have the Eon card in the background here for you. It's really a lot of major arcana here, isn't it? The Eon card back here, this is a rebirth energy. This is kind of like, this is a moment where I think that you have decided to leave. This is like, I don't know, this is almost like the incinerator of the past, that I think you're trying to leave the past in the past. And this, if this is the present moment now, this Nine of Swords, I think we're really trying to get this into that kind of trash heap of the past as well, so that it, to me, it reminds me of Back to the Future, Mr. Fusion. I think was it the first or second movie, Back to the Future? Shout out to, I'm blanking on his name now. That's terrible of me. Anyway, the fuel of the DeLorean was Mr. Fusion. You'd put garbage in there and it would convert it to fuel and it would, be able to take off. Michael J. Fox, that's who I was thinking of. I blanked on his name. I love Michael J. Fox. But it kind of feels like this is what we're trying to do here. We're trying to put this storm kind of behind us and just let it be another thing that's going to motivate us and push us forward. Okay? I think that you, at some point in, well, maybe not the not so recent past, I think there was a time in your life where you just decided, I'm changing my life. That I'm not going to be, I'm not going to be at the mercy of the wind, right? And I think that once you made this conscious decision, you went through a doorway through which you could never return. And I think you activated something in yourself. You activated this devil energy. You activated this sort of this co-creatorship with the universe. And I feel like the universe started helping you along, started pushing you forward. Okay? And I kind of feel like that's similar to what's happening for you right now. Okay? I think that we're making a decision to not linger here at the mercy of the weather, but to go through a doorway and accept, first of all, accepting what's going on now, but also believing and knowing that this is not permanent. Okay. I think this was a definite decision that you've made, to leave the past behind you, to not linger in the storm any second longer than you need to. Okay, we could be talking about, we could be talking about a financial thing. It seems like there might be a work thing going on, or something related to how you're making money. I feel like there's a small sum of money coming your way, like something is on its way to you. And I don't know if this is like the beginning of business revenue. I don't know if you started like a side business or something, because I feel, especially with the Three of Pentacles in your environment, I feel like you started some kind of new business thing. it's a side hustle, it's a YouTube channel, it's something that you're hoping is going to like start bringing in a little bit of money, Spirit's saying that it is going to. Yeah, it is going to start bringing in some money here. Getting some initials for someone out there. There's an A and an L person for you. Okay, I don't know if it's Al or if it's L and A. I don't know if it's initials, if they're backwards, but I'm seeing an A and I'm seeing an L for you. The devil energy is kind of a mixed bag as well, right? Every card has light and shadow. Looking at this card at the very top of the pile here, okay, is in a way saying that the devil is sort of is tempting us. The devil in a way is trying to keep us chained to how we feel. Okay, but at the same time, that devil, that force within us, that engine, this is your drive. Okay, this is your driving force. This is your ability to climb the mountain, whatever it takes, you know. Sometimes we get sort of, I don't know, we're going in a circle sometimes it feels like, or we're just sort of sitting in the ocean, the engine is on, but we're not in gear, you know, that we're just sort of not idling, but it's like you got the car in neutral and you're just revving the gas. And we end up just lingering here and spending so much time in this kind of, I don't know, wallowing in it in a way, right? That we're burning a lot of fuel, but we're not really getting anywhere. We might just be circling around in it. We might be stewing in the middle of it, rather than what I see with the Two of Wands, putting the car in gear and getting out of here as quickly as possible. Okay, moving forward from here. So the devil energy is that driving force, but it needs to be put in gear. And all the devil energy wants to do is rev the engine. It's the engine of the car. It's our drive, right? Our drive to create, our drive to heal, our drive to move forward to become who we're meant to become. And I think we have to ask, what is our motivation here? What is really driving us? Are we right now just trying to run away from something painful and get to the safe harbor? Are we trying to go from a 9 of Swords to the 4 of Cups? Are you being driven by something that is more significant? Are we driven at all? You know, are we letting just the force of the universe push us in whatever direction it has been, and that momentum is just carrying us forward? Are we being driven by an anger, a frustration? Okay, all of these things can work for us. It's okay to be trying to get away from something painful. It's okay to be using your anger and frustration as a motivating factor. It's okay to have something that's sort of more, I don't know, more purposeful, or like a further reaching meaning. Like you want to create something. You're trying to create a business. You're trying to create your future self. You're trying to create stability and happiness and satisfaction in your life. You're trying to, you are driven to improve the quality of your life, well, for yourself and for other people around you. Yeah. So in this situation, when you're in the middle of a storm, it doesn't matter what's driving you. What matters is we put it in gear. If you have to get angry to start taking positive steps, then get angry. If it's a frustration that is just, I'm frustrated, I'm not going to take this anymore, and we get moving. We put the car in gear and we move forward. We have to do so with integrity. We have to do so with balance, responsibility, with always an awareness that my thoughts, words, and deeds are going to create my future. It's okay if I'm motivated right now by anger or getting away from pain or a kind of higher creative ideal. And then it's important that I steer the boat in the right manner, you know, and don't do anything reckless or dangerous or destructive, right? But in this sense, it's okay, I think, to sort of sublimate the situation, the energy of the emotional energy of the situation, so that we can get motivated to make the right changes. You know, and I think at this point of your life, we have to take what's there. We have to take the energy that's there for us, and we have to use it in a positive way to steer the ship into the safe harbor of the 4 of Cups. The 4 of Cups is kind of luxury. It's kind of saying, okay, you can ease down now, Ripley. You know, that we've made it out of the danger zone, and we can sort of chill and regroup and figure out what we want to do from here. Okay. I think Spirit is behind you. I think whatever you're doing in your life right now is very significant. I feel like you have you've heard the call, you've answered the call, and now we're in that difficult portion of the quest where there is hardship. Okay? You're leveling up. It may feel like the dark night of the soul, right? Spirit's telling me about your unique taste in music. You're like a country music kind of person, or there's something about country music. Either you really strongly like it or you really strongly dislike it. But I'm really getting an intense connection with the country music. I don't know why. Usually not that specific, right? Usually it's just kind of a quirky musical interest, but I'm getting the country vibe quite strongly there with you. With the Four of Cups, this is an emotional security. Okay, this is the feeling that we've gotten a handle on our emotions, and I think that this is what we need to look at. This is what's the next step for you. The way forward for you is to get a control over our emotions and realize that, okay, with the Nine of Swords, sometimes the emotions are getting out of control. Okay, the Nine of Swords will cause the emotions to be out of control, and sort of vice versa, right? The thoughts and the emotions are always very closely tied together. But this is the moon in Cancer here. Okay, this is kind of saying we cannot be ruled by our emotions. We need to get control over them. We need to understand that they're going to wax and wane, that we're going to be going through a roller coaster of emotions. We have to make sure that those emotions do not lead to any unwanted behavior. Yeah, any unwanted behavior. So it's kind of like we can feel the emotions, the ups and downs of the emotions, but we have confidence in ourselves that it's not going to lead me into overreacting or to lashing out or to break something. Do you know what I mean? So we have to be aware of our emotions. And I think that the Libra energy really is kind of looking at things a little bit more objectively. Again, this is the discernment, right? The Libra energy, the adjustment card, is saying, okay, how do I need to adjust my behaviors? How do I need to nudge the river? I'm feeling all of these very intense feelings that we are this is kind of our focus, right? That Nine of Swords. I'm feeling all these intense energies. How can I most properly use them to create the proper environment for me to really get forward to a safe place? What do I need to do? It's okay if it's anger or frustration or just wanting to not hurt anymore, trying to put everything into that kind of, that vortex of the past and just let everything go back obviously in the past, right? The Four of Cups is us is us feeling our feelings, right? But being aware of them. And in a way, it's kind of between these two cards, it's taking ourselves out of the moment, right? It's taking ourselves out of that, right in the mix, right in that turbulent water of our emotions, and saying, okay, I can take a step back from how I feel, and I can acknowledge that. And maybe really it's just a matter of in our mind saying, okay, I'm very upset right now, but I cannot act in a way that's going to be detrimental. I cannot act in a way that's going to be bad for me or for the situation. Okay, so it really is that kind of self-control that we need. And I think by taking a step back and allowing ourselves to be a little bit just observant, I guess. I don't want to say detached necessarily, but observing how we feel is going to allow us to sort of gain a little bit of control over those feelings. Okay, now we're going to talk about the path of the serpent. As we do this, I would like to ask for your subscription. If you haven't subscribed, please do. These readings are free. Okay, I'm seeing something about a kitchen being painted, or there's something about the kitchen. I don't know if it's been remodeled, or if it's like a different color than it used to be, or if there's something strange. I'm kind of seeing like a yellow kitchen, but I don't know if you're painting over it or if there's something going on in the kitchen. Sometimes these details come in to anchor the reading for certain people. If those details don't mean anything to you, well, that's okay. Leave them for the next person. Okay. The Nine of Swords here is that general energy. And again, this is the feeling that we're in a storm, but it's also the thoughts. It's a card called cruelty. We have to make sure that we are not being cruel to ourselves, that we are that we're aware of the words that we use, both with other people and with ourselves. Primarily here, I think with ourselves. These are some poison daggers that I think we are kind of infecting ourselves with. You know, these are those thoughts that say, I am a loser, I'm a failure, I can't do this, I'm no good. Like, we have to stop that right away, just immediately, okay? And I think that's where the devil energy comes in, because the devil is kind of a focused and concentrated force, whereas the fool is just kind of diffuse, you know? And the fool is kind of like, I don't care about anything. We need to very quickly get control over what we're telling ourselves, the words that we're using, the words and phrases. I want to do a Language of Flowers oracle card. It may feel like the dark night of the soul, okay, but this is going to pass for you. Slow down. The pace must abate before it's too late. Okay. Maybe part of the problem here is the death card and its slow process. That you're in the middle of something that feels maybe like a Band-Aid is slowly being ripped off. Instead of just all at once would be better, right? Because it would hurt, but it would be over quick. This feels like something that's being drawn out. That it's taking a long time for something to pass into the past. Okay, and so it very well could be that this has been lingering too much, and our devil energy is just not sure what to do, that we keep spinning around in a circle or idling and just kind of revving the engine, waiting for this to pass. I think that we need to take a little bit of direction here, and you know, don't ignore the signs. I think Spirit is sending you signs that it's like you've got to put your motor into gear, and we've got to get through this a little bit quicker. It's something is lingering too long. It feels like the Band-Aid's slowly coming off rather than just, let's get it off quickly. And I don't know if it's something that we're avoiding or something that if we think about it, maybe there is something that you need to do in order to be making the steps forward. If it's something even just very small, even if it's just one little tiny step, it's a positive step. It's not an idle step. It's not a step backwards. It's a positive thing. And maybe it's the little things that we have to do that are going to help us to stabilize. The little things, like just get out of bed, make the bed, or get up and go have a glass of water, set an intention and follow through with it. And maybe having a glass of water and making the bed doesn't have anything to do with this dark night of the soul you're in, but it's going to help you to feel better. Okay? And that's the way forward, is to feel better, to heal. I think that you need to spend more time with your loved ones. I think that this card is really this is a card called luxury, right? So this card is really like, go out and buy yourself something nice. Go spend some time with a friend, or go have a bowl of ice cream, right? Go do something that feels good. And remember what feeling good feels like. Okay, do something that's going to make you feel good. I'm going to get up and make the bed. That makes me feel good, right? That's going to pull us out of a Nine of Swords a little bit. Call your best friend. Call your family. Watch your favorite show on television. You know, give yourself a bubble bath or something. It feels good. Sometimes it's just about getting up and getting back into our routine. Get up, go to the gym. Get up, go for a walk. Go pet the cat, pet the dog. Go feed the squirrels, feed the birds. It feels good. Okay? And find some positive things to say about yourself. It feels good. Maybe do a gratitude list. Maybe write a letter to someone that you really care about that you haven't talked to in a long time. It feels good. Yeah, it feels good. And sometimes just feeling good is good. Feeling good reminds us of what it's like to feel good. Reminds us that it's not all pain and disaster. That this is going to pass. Okay. Now we do have that Three of Pentacles in the environment. I think that there is some trouble in your relationships. I don't know if this is a breakup or if it's a business thing. But we have a lot of Mars energy today. I want to point that out. We've got, and this could be the feeling, this could be you inside of a tower. You know, the tower is a Mars energy. We've got Mars in Gemini, Mars in Capricorn, Mars in Aries. Ooh, a lot of Mars energy, right? And Mars feels like everything's crumbling. The Mars energy feels like everything's too intense. It feels like we're in the middle of that Band-Aid being kind of slowly pulled off of our soul, and it just hurts, and there's nothing we can do about it. And so we've got the effect that has on our mind, right? We're stressed out. We're having nightmares. We're not sleeping at night. And when we do, it's disturbed sleep. Okay? There's something that we keep ruminating on that is making us feel worse and worse and worse. We keep replaying the events in our head. We keep going through these disaster scenarios. Maybe we're catastrophizing a little bit. So there's a Mars energy here. We're being very destructive with our thoughts. Mars in Gemini. We're splitting things apart rather than trying to heal things and unite things. We're picking at the wound. We're scratching at the scab, and it's not helping. Okay? The Three of Pentacles is in a way that we're trying to force something. Okay, and maybe we are. Maybe this is really like, because, it's the Capricorn. It's Mars and Capricorn here. So it really could be up here again, Mars and Capricorn. This is Mars and Aries. But with that devil energy, it might just be that, look, we've got to take all of this frustration, all of this anger. If you can't sleep at night, don't sit there in bed and lament and worry and stew and ruminate over the problem. Just get up and do something. You're awake. Why not go and do something? Write a letter, work on a piece of music, paint a picture, do some exercises, cook a meal, go for a walk. Depends on your neighborhood, I guess, and the weather. But maybe take that opportunity to get up and use that energy. Well, I'm not sleeping anyway. Might as well do something about it. I think the worst thing we can do is when we wake up in the middle of the night and we're just lying in bed, tossing and turning, thinking, ruminating, stewing, and we're not sleeping. So let's get out of bed. Let's make our bed like our safe place, that I'm only in bed when I'm sleeping, and it's a loving, supportive, it's a sanctuary, right, our bed. So if it's not happening, we'll get up and get out of bed and go do something else. Maybe it's just sit on the couch, watch TV for a few minutes. Maybe it's just, do a few squats while you're watching your favorite show. Or watching a tarot reading on Dove and Serpent Tarot. And then going back to bed, or going back to whatever that, whatever that sanctuary should be for us. Because I feel like right now you need that safe harbor. You need that feeling that things are going to be okay. I think you need to activate your support system in a way. I think that we need to do things that feel good. We need to connect with people that help us to feel better. We need to connect with positive actions, behaviors, and other people that can help us kind of stabilize things. Because it feels like a dark night. Okay, it feels like we're sort of in the middle of a tower. It's a slow tower event, and it may just it may not actually be that slow, but when we're in the middle of it, it feels like it's taking forever. It feels like we're never going to get out of this. Okay, the Three of Pentacles is a card of cooperation, though, too, and so I do think that the next few days are going to see things starting to harmonize more for you. But I think we have to recognize the state that we're in and start maybe even like focusing externally to us. Doing something that's going to make us feel better, that's going to connect us with other people, taking some positive steps. And I think we're going to see that things are slowly arranging themselves together, and we have to be part of that process, and things are going to work out okay. Things are reharmonizing. This is you understanding the process of change, right? Understanding the process on the physical plane. It's kind of like, what you need to do. Yeah. You know that what you think in your mind is what is going to be attracted to you in your reality. So we need to really change that Nine of Swords, because the Nine of Swords is saying, every time I think about this thing, every time I think in the negative way, I get more negative stuff. We're attracting that to us. So we change our mindset and we start changing the things that are coming our way. All right. But understanding the process of change, understanding what we need to do in order to create more harmony for ourselves right now and to get through this dark night and get to the next level and get to the future and put the past behind us and whatever, however you want to look at it, is not the same as doing it. Understanding is one thing. Understanding needs action. Okay? Understanding needs action. The 3 needs a 2. What does it create? A 5. Creates change. Nothing's going to change unless you change it. So the card here that we're sort of avoiding is the fixed air. It's the truth. It's the realization. Okay? I think there is maybe a truth that we're reluctant to accept. The sooner we accept it, the sooner we sort of take this devil energy and we point it in the right direction and we take positive actions. Fire to earth, we start changing our behavior, we start changing our reality. We start taking steps forward that are going to help us to become the person that we want to become. It's like, well, to succeed in this, I need to be the person that wakes up early. Oh, but I'm so lazy. I never wake up early. I just stay in bed. I sleep in every day. We have to start changing that. We have to say, no, I'm the person that wakes up early. And we struggle toward that. Pick one thing like that and try to get really good at it. It's an exercise in willpower. Okay? And that's the fire to the earth. That is really setting the intention and saying, I'm going to do it. No matter how I feel, we're sort of motivating ourselves here. But the fixed air energy is, to me, it's like we need to make the decision and stick to it. It's sort of like we have to, in the fool's sort of ubiquitous attention, and it's sort of diffuse and it's all over the place. It's a feather in the wind, right? We've got to focus now. We have fixed air energy. This is just wild breeze, right? Wind. This is a fixed air energy. This is a wind that's blowing in a particular direction toward the goal. It's the commitment, it's the promise, it's the identification of the target and the locking in. Okay? So it's kind of like we see what we need to do, we see the direction that we need to take, and we're saying, I'm getting out of the dark, scary forest, I'm getting out of the dark night of the soul. That's the direction. It's like we're honing in, we're locking in on that GPS. And now it's just a matter of, okay, I understand what it takes, I know where I'm going, and I know what it means to go in that direction. I know what I need, I know what it's going to take, I know what it's going to require of me, the blood, sweat, and tears, the body, the soul, the spirit that need to be in that. I know what resources I need. The only thing left is to put the plan into action, to get up and start doing it. Okay, this is going to pass into the past, but we need to take the positive actions to get there. Okay? And see, the thing about the death card is that we're not wasting this experience. We're not trying to be ignorant of it. We're not trying to ignore it and just throw it into the scrap heap of the past. You're trying to learn from it. Okay? Never waste this kind of suffering, What did you learn from it? How are you recycling all of that into a greater discernment and wisdom for yourself? Okay? The only thing worse than this situation is for this situation to be completely meaningless. Okay, the only thing worse than going through this is going through this and then realizing or believing, falsely believing, that it was for nothing, that it was a waste of time, that this was just pain and suffering for its own sake. The universe doesn't work that way. Everything is a learning experience. We have the death card and the adjustment card. Okay, so we're recycling this energy. We're distilling this down into kernels of wisdom that are going to help us to make good choices, moving into the future. This is not a waste. This is not a meaningless experience for you. Okay? This is becoming wisdom for you. We have to look at it that way. And it may not be till after, when we turn around and look back and we think, oh yeah, okay, that I learned a lot through this situation. While we're here in the middle of it, we just think, I want it to end as soon as possible. I can't stand it. I need to get out of here. Then once we get out of there, we get to the safe harbor, we could recapitulate. And we can remind ourselves that, okay, it was a terrible experience. It was a terrible period of time, but we learned a lot, didn't we? And that knowledge now can become wisdom that's going to help us to make good decisions in the future as well. So everything is kind of recycled. That's the death card, is the great recycler. It's Recyclops, right? That death card. Nothing is wasted. The universe doesn't waste anything. Okay, we do, human beings do, but we're not supposed to, I don't believe, right? And the death card is saying like nothing is wasted. Okay, you eat food, a lot of it's wasted, right? A lot of it goes right out the other end, but we keep what we need. We keep what's going to help us grow, right? And the body sort of does that, usually does it pretty automatically, right? But we need to realize that for our experiences too, and nothing is wasted. We're meant to extract the wisdom from every situation, no matter how painful. In fact, the more painful, the more wisdom is in there. Okay? The more wisdom is in there. So we have the Two of Wands here at the end, and I think that is us realizing the control and the power that we have, and using that, getting motivated, getting inspired to make the right changes in our environment. We could be talking about relationships here, that you sort of understand what changes need to be made in your environment and in your relationships with particular people. But until we get this fire energy, none of those changes are being implemented. We know what to do. I know what relationships need to end or what I need to do in my environment. But this is the only appearance of the fire energy that we have. We have all this potential, we have all this spiritual energy, the momentum, but we sort of reach the impasse here. You know, we have the air, the earth, the air. Finally, we've got the fire at the end that says, okay, I'm taking action. I know what I need to do. I've felt the feelings here. I'm taking action. I'm putting the car in gear, and the engine's going to help me to get through this storm. Okay, let's look at the mystery card. I want some good water energy, right? I want to see like a 9 or a 10 of cups. I want happiness. I want satisfaction. I want a reprieve, more than a reprieve from this dark night, from this 9 of swords. I want like something extraordinary. You know, I want a Wheel of Fortune or an Empress or a 9 or a 10 of cups. If you have a prediction, put it in the comments. Let's see what we have. Oh, it's the Magician, of course. Yeah, because we have to assume co-creatorship with the process of change. This is that force of change, and the Magician is the one that's causing change in conformity with our will. We want something to happen. We want to be a certain way. We want to achieve our goals. We want life to look a certain way. We have to take kind of, like a 50-50 partnership with the universe here. And we have to do everything that we can to implement that change and to get ourselves going in that right direction, knowing that the Two of Wands is only about what we can control. I can control my thoughts, words, and deeds. I can't control the currents of the ocean or the direction of the wind. That's the force, that's the nature of nature. That's the force of change that I cannot control. But the Magician says, there are things I can do, and there are things that I can't do. We can't force the river to flow in a different direction, but I can control how I sort of navigate that river, how I pay attention and participate with that river, how I avoid the disasters of that river, how I can sometimes speed it up and sometimes I can slow the boat down a little bit. We can't go back up the river though, right? So these two cards really are very important. We have to take on the responsibility of the Magician, that I am causing change in conformity with my will, but there are things that are outside of my purview, things that are outside of my control. Okay? So it's sort of 50-50. We do everything we can, and the rest the universe is doing, and we're sort of adapting to we're adapting to the force of change around us. Yeah. So I think every tarot reading is about how we become the best magicians that we can be. Yeah, I believe that. we're going to do an extended reading, and because this is not a zodiac sign specific reading, we're going to go right into an extended reading. Okay? If you want to join the channel and have access to all of the extended readings for your zodiac sign, there is a link in the corner and there's a link down below. Okay? We do Jing readings, we do oracle cards, we do more tarot. It really is a fun time. Okay? So we're going to jump right into that right now. All right, here we go. We're going to cast first our hexagram, okay, from the Jing. And what we do is we leave our cards here on the table so we can see how the energy interacts and how the new energies, extend the meaning of some of the previous cards. Your hexagram today is hexagram 54. And 54 is the marrying maiden, right? It's kind of like if we feel like we're in a subordinate position, okay? Above the lake, there's thunder, the youngest sister's marriage. Through lasting results, you understand the ephemeral, okay? So understanding the ephemeral, knowing that this shall pass, knowing that nothing is permanent, okay? Through lasting results, you understand the ephemeral. We know that time marches on, so to speak. We know that the hourglass continues to run, and the death card is slowly moving forward. That death energy is slow and steady. It's not in a hurry, right? But it's consistent, and so everything eventually becomes the past. The youngest sister's marriage, to go boldly forward, is a misfortune. This is not a direction with merit. Okay, so let's read the commentary. Be careful at the beginning and look at the long-lasting and permanent to understand what's fleeting and impermanent. If you're subordinate, trying to make anything happen will be bad for you and you won't have anything to show for it. Okay? In other words, if you are not the magician, then you're going to feel powerless against the force of change. You're going to feel like a victim of circumstance. You're going to feel like things are happening to you. Okay? And that's where we are with the Nine of Swords. We have to be careful with that. It's basically saying that I'm subordinate, I'm powerless, and so there's nothing I can do. I can't try to do anything because the universe is going to be against me. Because the force of change is going to have its way, and I'm powerless. We have to change the way we're thinking. We have to realize, okay, I'm the magician. Okay? And that requires an understanding of how things play out over time. Okay? And that comes with maturity. That comes with experience, with wisdom. Understanding how things play out over time. Impatience, haste, or rushing into things is one way to learn about life. And I think that we got this card here that says slow down. And of course, the haste, the impatience can mature in the end to a calmer and more appreciative way of being that can look at options even for feeling and emotion and defer gratification as needed. Yeah. So a calmer and more mature and more appreciative way of being, okay, I think is sort of where we're headed into this Four of Cups. Okay. And so maybe our haste, maybe this is really, it's kind of, I think in a way Spirit's saying, yeah, if you need to rush out of this, if you need to just grab hold of the Band-Aid and rip it off, do it. That's going to lead you to more maturity and a calmer and more appreciative way of being, right? Rather than, perhaps feeling powerless and feeling as if this thing has been drawn out for a long, long time. And in a way, when we're in that dark night, when we're in that storm, it feels permanent. It feels like this is never going to end. It feels like I will be in this storm forever. Anytime that I'm sick, I feel like, oh gosh, I'm going to feel this way for the rest of my life now. This is terrible. But trying to remember that, no, it's going to pass. I'm going to get well. I need to sleep. I need to drink some water. I need to eat some healthy food, but it's going to pass. I'm going to get better. This is not a permanent state. Okay, nothing is permanent. Propriety means that unilateral action is inappropriate. Understand that the work is guided from within, and that choices which ignore this truth can only set back the progress. Present actions originate future consequences. Pay heed to your choices. That's the discernment. Without changing lines, this can be an admonishment to examine your motives and actions in the matter. Where are you out of line? Okay, this is an impotent situation. Okay, an impotent predicament. It's saying there's no way through the storm except through the storm. Okay, we can't just suddenly make it disappear, right? We can't undo it. We can't go back. We can't, we can't fight against this. What we can do is get control of ourselves, get the ship in gear, and get through it as soon as possible. But we can't make it not happen. We cannot undo something. So it may feel like there is powerlessness, but what we see with this is power. This is control. This is saying, I do have the ability to control things. Not everything. I can control me. I can control my thoughts, my attitudes. I can control the direction of the ship and how much gas to give it, because I'm the magician. But we have to first realize that we're the magician. Otherwise, we're going to feel absolutely powerless. So I think this hexagram really fits in with our reading. Now I want to do an angel number as a mystery card. And we'll do an empowerment oracle. Here we have the Yin Sanctuary. I am refreshed. The Yin Sanctuary offers a soft and peaceful space to rest. Like the moon over a calm sea, this divine energy restores my spirit and nourishes me with stillness and quiet. I listen to my body and seek the rest it needs. Moving in that direction, right? The fool's realizing that it should have a preference, right? Because the fool is just like, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't really care. Whatever the universe sends me. This is the powerlessness. This is power. This is powerless. What we have to do is make the choice and put the power into gear, right? And the fool, like I said, the fool doesn't care if an experience is good or bad. It's just saying whatever happens to me is what I stumble into, because I'm just a feather on the wind. I'm just a cork on the ocean. But now with the Yin Sanctuary, the fool, it's kind of like that party that's realizing, okay, no, you know what? I need healing. I need peace. I need restoration. I need rest. I need recuperation. I need stability. So we're realizing what we need, and we're making the choice to go after that to get ourselves out of this dang old storm. Let's do an oracle of the radiant sun. The achievement. More Capricorn energy. Right, the achievement. I think we need to look at it that way. Even when it is merely that we have put something painful behind us, let's look at that as an achievement. Even when we have failed and we're dealing with the failure, we're dealing with the misery of a Nine of Swords, once we get through that storm, let's view that as an achievement. Let's see that as a win. And let's be motivated to win here. And sometimes it's not easy to look at things that way, because we kind of see like a difficulty, a hardship, a dark night of the soul, a miserable situation as the only thing I can do is try to minimize the damage, minimize the loss. But that's kind of like, I don't know. If we look at it as an accomplishment and achievement, as a win when we get through it, then we're not so angry about it, because now it just feels like, I just wasted a year of my life. I just spent a bunch of money. I wasted a lot of energy for nothing. Like, for what? For what? But on the other side of that, if we turn around and say, hey, that was an accomplishment. I achieved something. I won. That was good for me, right? It changes our mindset, puts us into a positive mindset, a growth-oriented, sort of gratitude, grounded in gratitude kind of mindset. To look at it as an achievement that we've gotten through that dark, scary forest, or that dark night of the soul, that we've gotten through the storm. That is an achievement. Let's do a creativity oracle card. counsel. Seek out the counsel of those whose lives and creative work you most admire. Yeah, I think that's important for our devil energy too. And if, in order to get us out of this miserable Nine of Swords, maybe we do have to look at people who are doing what you want to do in life. You want to be a great basketball player. Look at somebody who you admire who's a great basketball player. What do they do? They don't just win games and party, right? They go to the gym 24 hours a day. They practice basketball 24 hours a day. They don't go to the parties because they're focused. What else do? They lose a lot of games. What else do? They struggle. What else do? They wake up at 5 in the morning or whatever, right? So it's kind of like we look at that and we think, okay, I need to start doing those things. And sometimes it's just, sometimes we can latch onto that and say, okay, I just need to do that. It gives us something to work on to pull us out of the funk or the rut that we're in. We're kind of we're in the trough now. We want to get back up to riding the wave. Yeah. And, I think that when we're feeling this is the sign. If you're feeling this way, this is the sign for you. Don't ignore the sign. Because this is telling you that something needs to change. This is telling you that what you've been doing hasn't been working. So we need to take positive, intentional steps in a different or new direction. And maybe with the counsel here, it's looking at somebody that you admire, somebody that is achieving what you want to achieve. Maybe it's a business thing, maybe it's a creative person or an athlete or whatever, whoever. It doesn't matter. And sort of take them as the example for a little bit. It's not an imitation. We're not saying, well, I'm going to be exactly like that person. I'm going to do everything they do. No, but what are the qualities that made them great? What were the qualities that made them great? What were some of the behaviors that are making them great? It doesn't matter if it's an athlete or a business person. It's the same kind of thing. It's discipline, it's tenacity, it's the ability to look at a failure as an achievement. Maybe it's waking up early, It's about learning through adversity, learning through the difficulties. Yeah. So the counsel, I think, is really important too. Metatron Oracle card. The dimensional gateway, an invitation. An invitation to healing, an invitation to the yin sanctuary. But remember that this Four of Cups is a temporary place. That is merely a stable emotional foundation from which you can reach to the stars. Okay, this is a baseline that we need to get back to so that we can continue on through the doorway, through the gateway, into our best life, into who you really are trying to become and what you're trying to make out of your life. Okay, now we're going to do the Path of the Serpent with the Millennium Thoth Tarot. And again, this is just an example of what our extended readings are like. If you want to join the channel and have access to all of your extended readings, please do so. And this is what the extended readings are like. Okay, so anyone who hasn't seen one before, this is it. All right. So we're going to do the tarot cards now for the Path of the Serpent. First we have the Prince of Wands. Very good, because it's a fixed fire energy. It is our ability to face the problem. It's our ability to say, I am ferocious, I am creative, I am powerful, and I can get through this storm. It's what we're feeling, that fire building up inside of us. And this is a commitment. This is a perseverance. This is us being steadfast in the face of the storm. We're not losing our power. Okay? This is saying, I can do it. I can get through this. This is where we need the commitment and the perseverance the most, when we're in the storm. It's easy to be a good pilot when the seas are calm. But when you're faced with that terrible storm, we're not just going to run away and hide and cower down in the bowels of the ship. No, we're going to face it. We're going to grab the wheel and we're going to get through it. We're going to push the throttle forward and we're going to do it. Smooth seas never made a great sailor, And so this is your perseverance in the face of danger, adversity, and trouble, and the storm, the dark night. Here we have the Eight of Pentacles, growth. We understand what growth means. We understand how to do it. We know how to plant a seed and water it and love it and grow a tomato plant. It's different than actually doing it, though, okay? So, Queen of Wands. So the Eight of Pentacles is, we're focused on growth, and we know that growth takes time to accomplish, okay? But we're trying to grow our relationships, grow our environment. We're trying to focus on those things outside of us that need our attention, that we can put some effort into and make them better. Because I feel like it is the external situation that's sort of leading us a little in a lot of ways to feel how we're feeling about this dark night of the soul, like something's happening outside of you, right? And that's sort of how we're responding to it with that Nine of Swords. So let's focus on what we can do to improve the external environment, and that'll help us to improve our internal response to that environment, you know? So we're taking the initiative, we're taking a little bit of that power. We got the Queen of Wands and the Queen of Pentacles. Queen of Pentacles is looking back at the situation and distilling the wisdom, like we talked about, okay? So the only way that you're gonna grow is to get through this situation and then look back so you can see the accomplishment, so you can see the achievement and how you've grown, okay? The Queen of Wands is really this kind of unquenchable, striving. The Queen of Wands is someone that really doesn't want full satisfaction, because then the fire of ambition is gone. So it's like we have to get so fired up for our goals that we're not going to stop for anything, you know, that we're just, we have this, we're on a mission, and we're not going to stop until we get there. You know, the Queen of Wands is very motivated. The Queen of Wands likes to do the thing just for its own sake, right? Likes to do the work because it likes the feeling of doing work. Doesn't care about the goal, doesn't care about the results, doesn't even really want the satisfaction if that means that the fire is being extinguished. You know, you think you get a 10 of Cups, what does it do? It's going to put out the fire. But the Queen of Wands is that fire. She is just that energy that loves the work, that loves doing the thing, likes to be in the garden digging up the dirt and pulling the weeds and pruning the plants and whatever you do in the garden. Doesn't care who eats the vegetables later. Doesn't care about all that, just wants to be involved, wants to be working, you know. So I like that energy too. I think this is really taking the initiative here. We're going to look at the mystery card, angel number 2424, the good times. Leisure, rest, holiday, pleasure, love, affection, kindness, and happiness. That is this card. Going from a 2 to a 4. 2 to a 4. Right? 2, 4, 2, 4. Getting to the 4, which is the leisure. Like I said, luxury, rest, the holiday, the pleasure. Do something that feels good. You're worthy of affection, leisure, and pleasure. If you tell your family and friends how you feel, you'll find that you're all on the same page and can work together effectively. Many people are rooting for you. If you spread love, it will find its way back to you multiplied. I think that absolutely connects us with this kind of what's right in front of us, the next stepping stone, the next sort of waypoint for you is the Four of Cups. And again, this is the feeling of stability and well-being, the feeling like, okay, I'm healed enough that I can continue my journey to the stars. Yeah, I like this. Anyway, I want to thank you for letting me read for you today. Again, if you want to check out the extended readings, please do so. Join the channel. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. These readings are totally free. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you, and we're all in this together.